Campaign Day 1 continued. The Dungeon Master stood up from the table and in a stern voice he stated, "Welcome to the Global Anti-Terror Organization. The organization is made up of a team of highly skilled operatives who have been handpicked for their expertise in various fields, including espionage, infiltration, and combat, and is known for its unorthodox methods and willingness to operate outside of the law if necessary. The Global Anti-Terror Organization's goal is to keep the world safe from terrorism and other threats by any means necessary. The organization is made up of operatives from various countries and backgrounds, all united in the fight against terrorism. We operate in the shadows, working to disrupt terrorist plots and taking out high-value targets before they can carry out their plans. You, the players, have been selected to be a part of this organization because of your exceptional skills and experience. You have all been handpicked for your expertise and your ability to work as a team." As the players gathered around the table, their focus sharpened. The Dungeon Master began to narrate the mission with a hushed intensity. "Your mission," the DM explained, "is to infiltrate Lipnovka, a picturesque fishing village nestled along the rugged Novoslav shoreline in the neighboring country of Zaryakova, just a stone's throw from Belarus. Its colorful wooden houses, standing resilient against the elements, bear witness to the enduring spirit of its hard-working inhabitants. It's a place where the traditions of East European fishing communities breathe with life, where the tangy scent of freshly caught fish dances in the salty breeze from the Black Sea. But," the DM continued, "this idyllic setting conceals a darker secret. The architect, a brilliant yet ruthless businessman, has established a small compound here. He's on the verge of releasing the devastating virus again in another country. His next target and reasons are unknown for now. Every second he lives is a second removed from the shelf life of global stability." The Dungeon Master paused for dramatic effect before adding, "I will play the part of Thomas Jones, your team's handler, and will have a safe house set up just outside of Lipnovka. Your mission is to secure the virus information and codes before eliminating the architect. You have just 4 hours until he returns to the compound, so time is of the essence. To succeed, you'll need to employ your skills in espionage, infiltration, and combat. Stealth and deception will be your allies as you navigate past guards and breach the compound's defenses. Once inside, hacking skills will be crucial to accessing the secure servers and retrieving the critical information and codes. You will give me the codes and the location of the architect's body when the mission is complete." The DM leaned in closer, emphasizing the gravity of the situation. "Remember this: if the enemy becomes aware of your presence, whether through a villager, police officer, or soldier, a failsafe will activate, potentially releasing the codes and plunging the world as we know it into chaos. Teamwork, skill, and resourcefulness will be your best allies in completing the mission before time runs out. Good luck and Godspeed. You will now have 1 hour to come up with your plan of action and present it to me before the timer officially starts." The room was silent, the weight of the mission settling upon the players. They exchanged determined glances, ready to embark on this perilous journey into the heart of Lipnovka, knowing that the fate of the global economy hung in the balance. The 4 players, John, Jason, Stephen, and Josh, huddled together, their character sheets and stats spread before them. As they contemplated their mission, each player's unique character class and abilities were central to their planning. Finally, they called the Dungeon Master over, their character sheets and equipment laid out before them like a battlefield strategy. Jason, taking the role of Jake within the campaign, rose to his feet with a grin that spoke of confidence and leadership. "I'm taking the lead on this one," he declared, his voice carrying an air of authority. With precision, he delivered a comprehensive overview of the team's equipment and their plan of action, and even had a detailed map drawn out on a dry erase board behind them. His grin widened, revealing the audaciousness of their plan. "We're going to perform a halo jump-in with dive equipment close enough to the shore and come in from the water," Jason explained. "But to pull this off, we're going to need a plane." As the campaign continues, you will now hear the accounts and decisions of the players within the game. Inside the cargo hold of the C-17 Globemaster, bathed in an eerie green light, Jake, James, Peter, and Ryan were a study in focused anticipation. As they tightened their harnesses and checked their equipment, their collective breaths were visible in the cold, thin air. The loadmaster, clad in his helmet and mask, acknowledged their readiness with a thumbs up before moving to the back of the plane to prepare for the ramp opening. The sudden blare of an alarm cut through the tense atmosphere, causing the team to snap into action. They gathered their gear and moved toward the open ramp, hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and nerves. The rush of wind and the vast expanse of the night sky greeted them as they reached the precipice. With a commanding nod from Jake, they executed their Halo high-altitude, low-opening jump with precision. They plummeted into the darkness, free-falling for what felt like an eternity before their parachutes deployed with a sharp snap, slowing their descent. As they descended towards the inky blackness of the water below, they watched the shimmering surface approach. The team hit the water, and their training kicked in. They swiftly detached from their chutes and deployed aquatic gear, each member emerging from the water like silent phantoms. With the shoreline in sight, they regrouped, their eyes reflecting the moon's pale glow. The old, weathered fishing boat, retired from its seafaring days, became their landmark. Huddled together beneath its shadow, they stashed their parachutes and non-essential gear, their breath visible in the chilly night air. Their mission lay ahead, shrouded in darkness. With a shared nod, they moved silently from the beach, disappearing into the obscurity of the night, their resolve unwavering as they pursued their critical objective. James radioed into HQ.
We're on site.
Approaching a dense tree line that concealed them in shadows, the team moved in sync with the silence of the night. Suddenly, a signal halted their advance and they froze, their forms blending seamlessly with the obscurity of the trees. In the distance, the glow of streetlights illuminated the sidewalk, revealing two unsuspecting soldiers. They had come to a stop just between the team and a crucial section of the road the operatives needed to cross. The soldiers, bathed in the artificial illumination, seemed oblivious to the presence lurking nearby. As the team watched from the shadows, the soldiers indulged in casual chatter. The soldiers, caught in the camaraderie of the night, lit up cigarettes. Their faces illuminated by the glowing tips, laughter filled the air as they exchanged stories about co-workers, their voices punctuated by occasional bursts of amusement. The soldiers reminisced about their off-duty escapades, recounting nights spent in town with local women, whenever they managed to sneak away from their responsibilities. It was a rare glimpse into their lives beyond their military roles, a momentary lapse in their guard. It became evident that the soldiers had no intention of moving any time soon. The team remained concealed, their presence hidden in the enigmatic darkness of the trees, patiently awaiting the opportune moment to proceed with their mission. Ryan, with determination in his eyes, retrieved a compact drone from his gear, silently signaling Jake about his intention to deploy it for reconnaissance. Jake, not entirely convinced, waved his hand dismissively, conveying his reluctance to rely on such technology in this delicate situation. However, Ryan, undeterred, began to unpack the drone with practiced efficiency. He meticulously assembled it, fitting the propellers into place, and powered it on with a subdued whir. With a quiet determination, he launched the drone into the night air. Jake's frustration and disbelief were palpable. His eyes narrowed as he shot Ryan an incredulous look, accompanied by a not-so-subtle, blaring middle finger. It was a gesture born of both frustration and anxiety, an unspoken plea to maintain the element of surprise and stealth. As the drone ascended, its blades slicing through the air, it began to hover silently above the two soldiers. The night held its breath, waiting to see if the soldiers would be alerted to this unexpected intruder in their midst. The mission hung in the balance as the drone's presence cast a shadow of uncertainty over their meticulously planned operation.
"Huh? What was that?"
shouted one of the soldiers.
"It was probably just a stupid bug or something,"
declared the other soldier. Jake's signal cut through the tense silence like a blade in the night. Instantly grasping the urgency of the situation, Peter and James exchanged a knowing look and reached for their knives, their training and instincts guiding their every move. With deadly precision, they emerged from the concealment of the shadows, their figures a blur as they closed in on the unsuspecting soldiers. Swift as shadows themselves, they struck simultaneously, their knives finding their mark with chilling accuracy. One soldier fell, a knife embedded in his throat, while the other met a similar fate, his windpipe severed by the cold steel of the blade. The violence was swift and silent, their adversaries unable to make a sound before their lives were extinguished. With a seamless fluidity that came from years of training, Peter and James quickly dragged the lifeless bodies into the cover of the nearby brush with James's help, ensuring they left no trace of their presence behind. As they melted back into the shadows, the mission continued, their steps purposeful and their resolve unshaken, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Frustration bubbled over and Jake couldn't contain it. He smacked Ryan over the back of his head, a swift and silent reprimand for disregarding the team's strategy. The blow conveyed his exasperation more than words ever could. As the group regained their composure, James, always observant, pointed out a small, seemingly abandoned house nearby. Its windows were dark and there were no signs of activity. It appeared to be an opportune place to regroup, gather information, and perhaps chart their next move. The team nodded in agreement, their eyes filled with a renewed sense of purpose as they made their way toward the mysterious house, their mission far from over. With precision born of training, the team moved towards the seemingly abandoned house in a tactical formation, ensuring they kept a safe distance from one another. Peter, the vigilant sentinel, took up position across the street, his keen eyes scanning the surroundings for any potential threats. Jake and James, the dynamic duo, approached the house with caution, moving stealthily towards the structure. Their senses were heightened, every creak of a floorboard, every rustle of leaves, scrutinized for signs of danger. Meanwhile, Ryan, ever watchful, positioned himself by a nearby bridge, ready to intercept any unexpected company that might venture too close to their location. Each member of the team had a specific role in this intricate dance of surveillance and readiness, their collective efforts aimed at ensuring the success of their mission in the heart of the unknown.
Checking the house for disguises we could use,
Radioed James. As James approached the entrance to the seemingly abandoned house, a local fisherman unexpectedly stepped out from a side door, the flicker of a lit cigarette casting eerie shadows on his weathered face. The team froze in a tense silence, their senses heightened, every breath held as they assessed the situation. Peter, across the street, recognized the vulnerability of his position under the streetlights. He attempted to move stealthily for better cover, but in a fateful moment accidentally tripped over a garbage can. The clattering noise was like a gunshot in the silent night, scattering the contents onto the street in a cacophonous symphony. The old fisherman, startled and puzzled, turned towards the commotion. His eyes settled on Peter, an unfamiliar figure in his peaceful village, standing amidst the debris on the roadside. In that instant, their worlds collided. A seasoned operative in pursuit of a critical mission and a simple fisherman, both caught in the unforeseen chaos of the night.
We got a military truck approaching the bridge.
Ryan announced over comms. In a desperate attempt to salvage the situation, Jake leaped towards the fence, determined to reach the fisherman before he could potentially raise an alarm. The aged, weathered wood of the fence, however, was no match for his weight, and it collapsed beneath him with a loud crack, causing Jake to cry out in pain as he tumbled to the ground.
Shit!
The sudden noise jolted the old fisherman from his initial puzzlement, and panic washed over his face as he realized the presence of an intruder. He opened his mouth to shout for help, but he never got the chance. "Holy shit!" James shouted. And in a swift and smooth motion, James drew his silenced pistol, aiming it with precision. With a muted report, the shot rang out, and the fisherman crumpled to the ground, his voice silenced forever. The team then took cover, their hearts pounding as a military truck rumbled past. Their mission plunged further into a web of unexpected complications.
Yo, what the fuck, James?
Jake exclaimed as he lay in shock on what used to be the old man's fence.
Bro, did you seriously just kill that poor old fisherman?
To be continued.
As we close this chapter with the Curious Scriptorium, don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing tales. Thanks for joining us, and until we meet again, stay curious.